Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Game Plan. This is an instant reaction to the AFC Championship game. The Kansas City Chiefs, yes, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tennessee Titans. Apologies to the Titans fans. I bought these helmets a couple years ago and they've changed their helmet since then. I will update it. It's just, believe it or not, it's really hard to get a hold of a Tennessee Titans helmet in the right color for some reason online without paying through the nose for it. So I'll pick it up this offseason. But look, great game, I thought. It was a game that, Kansas City, they didn't close out the game as well as they wanted to, but they made the Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Kansas City fans. That's a city and an organization that I'm happy for them to get in the Super Bowl. I'm happy for Andy Reid to get into the Super Bowl again. Tennessee, nothing, certainly no shame in what happened there. They looked fantastic. I thought that this was a game that both teams looked like they belonged on the field. The moment wasn't too much for, I don't think, either one of these teams. But we'll dig into the game. I'm going to go through the stats and kind of what I thought. High level, I believe the over-under was 52.5. I had the over. I ended up hitting that one. I thought that this was going to be about a field goal, 3 to 4 point game for Kansas City. My projection for score was 31-28. I was on Tennessee to cover that 7.5 point spread. Obviously, they did not. Although I think they, these things are always razor thin. That's why Vegas makes a lot of money. There's a lot of action on both sides. But I thought that Tennessee was going to be able to keep the game close and slow down the clock a lot more. There are factors into why they did not. Most notably, if we look at Derrick Henry's stats, the first time these two teams played when it was 35-32, and this was the famous game where the Kansas City Chiefs could not get a field goal off within the last 2 minutes of the game. This was, I forgot, they played on November 10th. And Tennessee came back and won the game. Huge game for them to bring them to 5-5 in their season. That really kind of springboarded them on. By the way, that was the last Kansas City Chiefs loss. Well, Derrick Henry in that game had 23 carries for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns, 8.2 yards per carry. Obviously, look, Derrick Henry's been running over people. This guy's a freak. It was to the point, hold on, I wrote a note down here. It was to the point, he's so big. Every time you hit him in the backfield, he falls forward for 4 yards. It's incredible. He didn't have the greatest game today. If I pull up his stats from this game, let's see, I think it's 19 carries for 69 yards, which is a bummer. 3.6 yards per carry. If you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes had 53 yards. Damian Williams had 45 yards for 2.6 yards per carry. Neither of these teams could run. Kansas City's defense has been getting better and better throughout the offseason. I did not think that they would be able to hold Damian Williams to that low of a total, but credit Kansas City's defense. I think they had a good game plan, and they showed up. The Titans, if I look back at the passing game, I think Tannehill completed 13 passes the first time that they played, which, that's a no shade at Tannehill. He didn't have to throw for more than that, and Derrick Henry was kind of running over. Well, if you look at Tannehill, he was 21-31, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. If you had told me that was going to be Tannehill's stat line, I would have thought that the Tennessee Titans honestly probably would have won the game, because I would have figured that Derrick Henry would have run for more yards. But once again, 19 carries, 69 yards, 3.6 yards per carry. This is the first time that Derrick Henry has looked mortal in about 3 months. And it's going to happen from time to time. And I thought that Kansas City, basically when they went up by 3 scores, and that was the Sammy Watkins touchdown. He had 3 big catches, by the way. This is like a statement, not a statement game, but this is probably Sammy Watkins' most influential game as a pro. He's been kind of a disappointment from that early draft position. I believe he was drafted before Odell Beckham, although maybe 3 years ago you would have thought, Odell Beckham was way better, but now given Odell Beckham in Cleveland, I don't know. But, seriously, Sammy Watkins, though, 2 big catches on third downs. He had that touchdown that put them to 3 scores, and I felt similarly to what I felt Tennessee did to Baltimore last week. Tennessee is just built to be more of a play from ahead team than a play from behind team. That's not to say that they can't come from behind. In fact, I think they're better built to come from behind than even Baltimore is. However, when they went up 3 scores, I think there was about 9 minutes left in the game was over there. I will say, though, Damian Williams running out of bounds at about the 6-ish minute mark. Then what did he do? There was Kansas City, they double-teamed the Gunners. Again, they were up by 3 scores. There was, 6 minutes left, just before Williams ran out of bounds. And Williams ran out of bounds at 4 minutes, which is awful. That saved a timeout for the Tennessee Titans. No bueno there. But Kansas City double-teamed the Gunners in a situation where you knew they had to be going for it on fourth down. You knew it was going to be a fake punt. And so I just thought that was poor coaching. That's something that they're not going to be able to do if San Francisco wins, and we're making this video before San Francisco Green Bay. If San Francisco wins, they're not going to be able to win a game playing that kind of situational football. That was a poor play. But again, Kansas City's in. That's all that matters. What else happened? There's a pass interference penalty against Tennessee at about the 3:51 mark. That one... Man, that was close. I mean, I don't argue against it, but if they didn't call or throw the flag, I wouldn't necessarily have argued for it. I didn't think it looked that much worse than a non-call. Tennessee. In the last drive of the game, Humphreys is over the middle. There was a defensive lineman covering him, didn't get his head turned around. They didn't call it. It didn't look that much worse. I think in both situations, the receiver kind of initiated the contact. Tennessee, the guy was just a razor thin in getting that head turned around, but it's that close. If he gets his head turned around on that play, that's not a pass interference. Tennessee has the ball going back to them at about 4 minutes left, 3 minutes and change there, with a chance to turn that into a one-score ball game. These two teams, once again, very, very good. Let's get more into Kansas City stats. And Patrick Mahomes, what a fantastic game. And again, great for him. As a football fan, I'm not a big fan of either of these teams, but as a football fan, you have to like what Patrick Mahomes is doing. He's a likable guy. He doesn't do it. You don't watch him, you don't think, gosh, I root against this guy. He just has a nice, good personality that you think, he's probably a pretty good sport out there. He was 23 of 35. 294 yards and 3 touchdowns. And once again, let me read you Tannehill's stats. Tannehill was 21 of 31 for 209, and Patrick Mahomes 23 of 35 for 294 and 3 touchdowns. He also had that huge touchdown run at the end of the first half, which frankly could have been the difference in the game. 8 carries, 53 yards and touchdowns. So Mahomes 4 total touchdowns there. A great game. Tyreek Hill was definitely a difference maker. Only 67 yards receiving, but 2 touchdowns. One of them was that little mini shovel pass to him on the end around there. Sammy Watkins 114 yards and that touchdown. But most of the yards came on that touchdown. So Sammy Watkins stepping up. This was a standout game for him in his career. Good for him. Good for Tyreek Hill. Tennessee, hey, you gotta like what this season did, right? It's always disappointing. There's always some heartbreak there. But this Tennessee Titans, as I've been saying, and I know Titans fans, are quick to criticize because I've picked against them now 3 weeks in a row. I happen to be right this week, and I was wrong the previous 2 weeks. But what I've been saying is, and by the way, this is the first time I didn't actually win my bet against the spread on Tennessee too, because I've been picking them against the spread for weeks. But you have to like this team. This team is smart situationally. They just need a couple of other pieces there. Do you extend Tannehill? Do you pay him? Well, I don't pay him through the nose. I don't give him like the contract that Kirk Cousins got. I don't give him $27 million a year. But frankly, if Tannehill is willing to take maybe 20, maybe even in today's NFL with the collective bargaining agreement and the raising cap and all that, maybe you can even go up to like a 24. If he doesn't break, and $24 million, believe it or not, doesn't break the bank. If you can sign him, obviously you build the team around Derrick Henry. I think you extend Derrick Henry. I think he's earned that extension. Extend him and get him under contract. He's worth every penny. You don't see people like that. There was a stat like he's one of only 3 players in the NFL. I think he was like over 240 pounds and can run a certain speed, like over 20 miles an hour or something like that. I mean, he's just a physical freak. He's an anomaly, and you keep guys like that. I know that it's not in vogue to give running backs big money because you're supposedly able to find running backs elsewhere later in the draft, not guys like Derrick Henry. And mind you, as everybody thinks of the NFL as a pass-first league, Kansas City's the only passing team still alive. San Francisco, though they can pass the ball, they're a run-first team. Green Bay is a run-first team. Tennessee is a run-first team. Baltimore, who's the top team in the league, is a run-first team. New England, even this year, was a run-first team. There's a lot of run-first, so we're starting to see the pendulum swing back towards the run. Derrick Henry is a guy you want to have on your team, okay? So you need to get him signed. Titans, maybe another playmaker. Corey Davis, I was kind of disappointed today. 5 catches, 65 yards, no touchdowns. A.J. Brown, 3 catches, 51 yards. I think maybe they need another playmaker. We'll see what the free agency has to offer in the draft. They don't. Their defense is good. Certainly, they can go heavier on the defensive side of the ball. Vrabel is a defensive coach, but I really feel like they need maybe a more elite speed. Can you imagine this game if Tyreek Hill was on the other side of the ball? You have A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, and Tyreek Hill stretching the field. If you can just get a fast speed guy like even Marquise Brown for Baltimore, and I know these are earlier draft picks, but if you can get some other speed on the side of the ball, it just opens up another dimension. But Tennessee Titans this season, since Tannehill took over, 9-4. I think their red zone percentage was something absurd with Tannehill at quarterback. Like, I think it might have dropped below, but it was at or above 90% coming into this game. Just fantastic. Fantastic Tennessee. Great season. I don't think that they're going to fall back to the pack. I think they're going to get better. And Kansas City, I'm excited to talk about them for the next couple of weeks. Congratulations to the victors here, the Kansas City Chiefs, and to their fans. Good luck in the Super Bowl. I am going to now start watching the NFC Championship game and, start thinking about this matchup for the Super Bowl. I hope everybody enjoys these videos, and we'll be back again with another instant reaction later this evening. And we have both of them from Championship Week. Everybody, once again, congrats to Kansas City. Congrats Tennessee on a great season, and we'll catch you on another video soon.